champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes. Welcome. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show. And we are Black in Sports, giving it a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble here, interviewing the best in the locker room. So we're jumping back in the locker room, man. You know, it's a little rusty, man. We coming back. But MH, man, we jumping into season 6, man.
Season 6.
Just saying, season 6, man, it's definitely a milestone, man. We want to thank everybody that kind of congratulate us on, the 5-year anniversary. But yeah, jumping into season 6. 6 has a lot of, intrinsic special things. So hopefully we'll bring some cool things around 6 as we go through this season. So I'm excited to bring some of that stuff. But MH, man, it's just like our recap show, man, kind of knocking off the cobwebs, getting back into the grind of things, man. So are you ready to do this?
Let's do it, man. It's good to be back.
Man. Good to be back, man. So, man, starting off, man, like we usually take that break. There's a lot that goes on when we take the break between, December and, just kind of first of the year. And, we have a new Super Bowl crowned champion, right? And that's one that, people were thinking that three-peat was going to happen. And we had some foilers in that, man. So what were your thoughts on the Super Bowl, man?
I don't know, as of Las Vegas resident, there's a certain team that we don't like to see win and the Chiefs. And then as a growing up a Dallas Cowboy fan, I don't know if I care to see the Eagles win either. But I think the lesser of the two evils, I guess, so to speak, was the Philadelphia Eagles winning, and I was happy about that. Part of me was like, hey, maybe we see history so the Chiefs can just fade away. We can get
that out the way.
Get some new blood in there. But the Eagles did their thing. I was happy for Jalen Hurts to get his quarterback, and then obviously Saquon Barkley, everything that he's went through with injury and coming back from what's going on with the Giants and all the stuff that was shared about him on Hard Knocks, and to win a Super Bowl, man, I think it was a good ending. So all in all, decent Super Bowl game. I don't know if it was the most exciting game, if I'm recalling it correctly. I think the Eagles kind of did what they needed to do.
Yeah,
but I think the results was cool, man. What's kind of your thoughts with it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely was. Either way, it was a win, right? Because either way, a black quarterback was winning the game. So definitely enjoyed that part. A lot of interest going in. I think we talked about on some of our live shows going into it about the halftime show, man. So I think, after the halftime show, it really kind of went downhill, right? Like there wasn't really much more excitement. You alluded to it, Eagles had it pretty much in hand with a couple of opportunities. KC just didn't look like themselves for whatever reason, right? Like just the pressures and just the different things that kind of go on. But, the halftime show, it did its thing. I mean, I was probably one that was kind of in question and wondering, like, man, like how long is a mixtape diss track going to get you? And he won 5 Oscars or Grammys, whatever before it. And then, and he just keep on the momentum. So definitely enjoyed the halftime show, especially, with just quote unquote a rapper, right? Not an entertainer. He gave us a show.
Yeah, I mean the amount of comedy that came from and memes that came from that halftime show on Twitter or X or whatever we call it. It's comedy. But yeah, shout out to Kendrick for doing this thing. It's he's been one of them for a long time. And so it was good to see him on that spotlight. And see Serena do her thing, and I guess the only thing that about the halftime show that I knew was going to happen, just because it was Kendrick, is just the manifestos and the podcast episodes of deeper meaning to everything that he did, whether he took a step to the left or right.
They're still breaking down that he's gonna
Oh
be
my goodness, the
Da Vinci
film, the
Code. You
film
need,
breakdown is
you need
crazy.
Da Vinci Code to get through all the.
Oh my
Did you
goodness.
see like Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle
Ah,
Sam, and he had his hat tipped to the left,
ah.
meaning
If you look 30-degree angle, this mean okay, yeah. So
right,
all those things, it's entertaining.
right. The funny one, right? Like it was like he was on a controller and he was doing the contra
Yeah,
code up
yeah,
down, start left, right,
yeah,
left, right. Like,
yeah.
come on, I was like, that's them old
shout,
heads.
shout out to my wife and TikTok for keeping me educated on all the different Da Vinci codes that go with that halftime performance. But yeah, no, it was cool.
Absolutely. It was cool. So moving on, man. We want to attempt to keep this recap quick. National championship. Ohio State, man, came back and did it, right? Like they looked dead in the water. They lost to Michigan during the season. And then this was the first year of the expanded playoffs, man. So we crowned a new champion there too. What are your thoughts about that? Anything about the playoff? Did you like the expanded teams? You feel that the best team was crowned the champion?
Love the playoffs. Love the playoffs, and by the setup of it, I think one can argue that Oregon had to play them a little earlier than maybe they could have because of the seeding, and that's a whole different debate. But I think they got the 12 best teams, or at least towards the end, the 4 best teams of college football. In the semifinals and the playoffs, I think that's what they won. And then it was just exciting to see playoff games on campus. I think Ohio State started off with Tennessee at home, and so to have a game of that magnitude on the campus, love it. And then however they mixed in the bowl games was interesting. And I know there's some adjustments there, but I love where college football is right now. It's almost, and in a lot of cases already has surpassed the NBA as like the number 2, really sport in our country,
Right.
with NFL being one. So I loved it. And then I know you feel a type of way about Ohio State and winning the national championship. So salute to all the salute to all the Ohio guys winning. I thought it was great. I thought it was cool, and it was really cool to see Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman and his opportunity of representing as being the first Black coach in the national championship, and there's a lot of years that's gone into college football. So it's just crazy to even be a first to college football in 2025. But it's cool, and hopefully
that program, right? Like that program,
and at Notre Dame, 100%, 100%.
That part, right? So
Yeah.
just when you're seeing that they're not giving coaches time, right, to do these programs and to get things done. So yeah, definitely hats off to them on that.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. I thought it was really cool.
And I think we'll get more into a lot of things like, then you start having off-season stuff, movements. The combine was happening. So we'll have our draft show later on in the year or later this month, actually. So we'll do a draft show. So we'll kind of get back into that. Any other like big things that you think about when you think about the time that we had off?
Man, I think NBA All-Star Game is right around that time, and they made their adjustments, and some successful, some not. But I know they are continuing to look at what that looks like. And I think we have a interesting perspective being on the business side of sports and knowing kind of how important that weekend is, aside from just the actual game on that Sunday. So just interested to see where that kind of moves forward and how that kind of progresses, and then kind of where sports media is right now too, man. So we
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, do your thing.
No, but they still are looking to tweak that, right? Like, so NBA All-Star was in San Fran this year, and just kind of how that worked out, right? Like a dynamic, great city, but how was it getting around to all the things, like when you talk about the business aspect of it, and then the show that they put on the floor. Good that they had another HBCU Classic a part of that, so I'm glad they continue to do that and support that and push that. But just I don't know if I heard the buzz about it this year like I have it, other years, even some off years when you didn't think Utah would be okay. But that was, them introducing, a few different things. Definitely think it was amiss not having the shootout with Caitlin Clark, but she didn't need them. So
yeah, it's a whole nother conversation there, right? Too.
Whole nother conversation, right? So how much you kind of emerge the two, and then just how the game is being played. It looked maybe a little more competitive, maybe. At the end, they were attempting to push that. But just the makeup, I still don't think they have it right yet.
Yeah, I mean, competitive or not, as a Knicks fan and Jalen Brunson being the All-Star, and I think he played like 7 minutes of actual basketball the entire time. That's kind of interesting. And the NBA is it's in an interesting spot when it just comes to like the voice of the NBA and who's talking the game and what that space looks like and who the audience is or who it's a really interesting I guess case study, so to speak, of sports media and how we go about viewing sports now. So yeah.
And with that, man, let's just jump into some of the stuff, man. We could go back if we need to, because like the dunk contest, right? Like we don't, I guess, need to touch that anymore.
I thought it was dope though.
Okay, wow, give me that, because you got a real high pitched excitement on that one. So
I just think people got to stop disrespecting Matt McClung, man. Yeah, they gotta. This dude is like a professional dunker. Now, is he a G leaguer and all that kind of stuff? People have some feelings about that,
right?
But I would put Matt McClung almost in any dunk contest, and he gonna do all right. He gonna do his any against any dunker. He gonna do all right.
And that's the problem, right? No one wants to see him, right? Because now, if you in the league and you can't beat them, like is that, are they scared? They running with their tail between their legs?
You're not gonna beat him.
Okay.
There's nobody in the league that can beat him. He's like one of those like professional dunker dudes. You're not gonna beat him.
Well, he has a coach and everything, right? Like they had the dude that was like helping him spot and everything. Like he what is it? He does this.
No, he's been doing it. And I mean, you guys. So we had the live show. We talked about it. He's not just he's a professional dunker, but he's like the all-time scoring leader in Virginia. Broke out Allen Iverson. We talked about it on the live, right? So like, he's been a guy for a little bit.
Yeah, it's not like just somebody that got hops, right? So
nobody's gonna see him. So that's interesting.
So should he just keep going until somebody steps up?
I would. I mean, he got a shoe deal out of it, right?
He's gonna keep getting that bag for us, so why not?
Yeah, he'll be on some roster around All-Star weekend, just so he can. Somebody's gonna put him on.
So get a 10-day, quick 10-day.
Do it. Keep doing it.
So we were getting into the media part of it, right? And like how it's watched, how it's talked about, especially the NBA, right? Like that one seems like it's controlled. The narrative, stronger than any other sport. And funny that's coming up because you have the argument between one of the greater players in the NBA right now and one of the top analysts. So if you don't know, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, have a little feud going on that kind of really dusted up when protect the father, right? Like he didn't want the smoke or didn't like another man talking about his son. So still being protective, but it kind of got heated up when Stephen A. Smith was at a game and LeBron approached him, and then they took the gloves off, and it's been like back and forth since then. So how do you feel about that? When you're talking about the media and attempting to talking about the game and, just what that brings.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, and we know it may be a little bit more legs to it than just how the game is referred to, like simply put, nobody has cable anymore. I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people don't. Right. And so how does that work with streaming and, even the people that talk the game, they have their own platforms and social channels and all those type of things. And it's just different. I think where the NBA, I don't know if it's a struggle, but where they got to kind of figure out, you can kind of say that, that crew of Kenny, Shaq, and Charles Barkley are still kind of like, in some ways, the voice of the NBA, or at least maybe the loudest or the most heard. And if you just kind of look at errors, they're like 3 eras removed from our current players. And I think the spotlight probably should be shifting towards, shout out to my man, but a Carmelo Anthony or Jeff Teague that have their different platforms, that have played with the guys that are current, but just, I think they have a more natural, I guess, I don't know if it's respect is the word, but just, they've been in the locker rooms with some of the current players. And I think you might get a different
voice,
yeah, so to speak, if that was the case, if they were different. I mean, when Shaq and Kobe, or Shaq and Kenny and all them playing, I mean, Kobe was still playing, right? So Kobe had a natural reverence to Shaq, Kenny, and he played with Shaq, but to Kenny and Charles, because that was the era like right before him. Kenny and Charles has been removed for a long time now, right? So they grandpa on them to most of these kids playing. So I don't know. I think there's some errors.
Right? Like, isn't that how it's always been though? I mean, we're really in the era where you have athletes being analysts, right? To a degree, to where Ernie is the only like true broadcast, but he was, I think he played baseball, right? Before he became an announcer and things like that. But you always had that kind of removed kind of voice. Right.
In some ways, I mean, like I remember vividly listening to games growing up where Magic Johnson was doing some of the color commentary and Isaiah Thomas, right? And all those players played with the Michael Jordans, you know what I mean? And so they had a natural, obviously, respect for Michael because Michael who he is, but they rubbed elbows with him too, right? And so that comes from a different perspective than, you've been 3 generations removed from whoever, the guy is now. The Jason Tatums of the world. Charles Barkley had been gone before Jason Tatum was even born. You know what I mean? So I just think there's some issues there when it comes to how you communicate. I couldn't talk, I wouldn't want to be the voice of a middle school game right now. I haven't, I've been removed from middle school for a long time. So I think there's just some odd transition that's going on with the NBA, which is really
interesting, man. That's a great point. I mean, because you saw that with like some of Shaq's beef about 3 years ago, a couple years ago, how he would just, call people out. And that's not that's not the voice of today, right? Like those guys don't talk to each other like that, to where maybe a little older, you could, right? Like you could talk to him and call him a chump and,
that's a different,
use the old school, like put downs, right? To where now
your mama's so fat. It's like, well, come on, bro.
And like Charles said, she lived down in Galveston, right? Like,
it's just, that's a great example.
So I definitely agree with you on that. And I think, we always talk the business side of sports too, right? So like from the business perspective, it's the access, right? So you still have these big networks that control the access, right? Because, we were about to lose Shaq, Kenny, and them, right? But and there's still a voice that they're entertaining, right? That's the biggest thing about anything is you want a level of understanding the game, but they have far more reaching entertainment value. Hell, they have like real-time tweets and stuff like that they show on their show and interact and things like that. So I think it's tough when you're looking at maybe the amount of knowledge that people share in the game, right? Because how many of these people and kids you're here now are like real students of the game, where they're like breaking down the field, so they don't even care about that much to be a student of the game, to go in, break it down, analyzing, this is what they were running, things like that, to where you're losing that because these kids, and I call them kids, not out of disrespect, but like they're going right from the league or the G League right into the game and haven't spent that time developing. So it's hard to see once they expire, and especially a lot of them making money. We were talking pre-show about NIL and stuff like that. They're making all this money to where they don't have interest to like develop and talk about the game or the respect for the current players. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops, when you want to get someone calling the game, because we don't have those John Maddens where it's like, no, John Madden was a freaking coach that like knew the game in and out, but he brought the entertainment. So you kind of respect the level of where he was going, and he took the prowess or the work ethic he had during the learning the game into broadcast booth too.
Yeah, it's real interesting point, and maybe we're truly just the old guys right now. There's got to be, there's got to be a happy medium between Kenny and Charles and Kai Sinat. Like you know what I mean? And I feel like this world is very on, snap shots of things and snippets and clips, so to speak. So how does that play into to the game? It's interesting. I also think the NBA didn't do themselves favor. And I said this on the live show when they've made all the rules and made it harder to trade. I just think half of the NBA's chatter is about possibilities of who can be where and who can team up with where, and that maybe that's LeBron's legacy or whoever you want to say that to. And then I think even the conversation about basketball has kind of shifted once the Luka trade happened, and I think it's been a little bit more positive, and the buzz has been ramping up towards the playoffs because of it.
So circling back and then getting off this, moving on, what do you think that Stephen A. Smith and LeBron thing is, right? Like, is it overblown? Because, we probably think there's a backstory, but, what? Because even Adam Silver, like, mentioned something about it, like he didn't like seeing it. Because you're talking about your face, right? Like it or not, LeBron is still the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
And then how that was with him and Stephen A. For me, the funniest part though is I did like seeing Brian Windhorst catch a stray bullet though.
Unnecessarily.
No, I think it is necessary because, like, I don't know. I just think Brian's made his name off of LBJ.
Off LeBron, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if he ain't kissed the ring enough or something, but, like, let it be known, like, your whole career is like, I made you. I made you. So, like,
and I saw some stuff about Skip Bayless dedicated 20 years of hating on LeBron to not even get mentioned. Hello. I think it's, honestly, it's just two guys with enormous egos that, I don't know, maybe it's good for both of them in some ways. One, like, I'm so ready. I put it this way. I am so ready to be at LeBron's rate. I'm close to being 40.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so ready to be 40 to where I can say whatever I want and not really care. I feel like this is the 40-year-old Bron, or either that's just that, or he's about to retire. I'm
right. Like,
you just pulled I appreciate
the all-time move, right? Like, you just got your son drafted to the Lakers. It was almost like a LeBron book. So it's like now it's just like, man, I done did all the stuff that I possibly could have done. Somehow you're right with that. He's in his old man. I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want to say.
I really appreciate this. I really appreciate this version of LeBron just saying whatever he wants to say, which is cool. And I also appreciate, Stephen A. Smith. I mean, this has been a resurgence in, I know he's making
his boxing acumen.
Yeah, and now he's got to get ready for, he's trying to get into politics like that, He wants to represent a certain party, so he got to get his combinations right. So I'm glad his policies is getting touched on a little bit.
They showed him the boxing, and then they showed him throwing out the first pitch. They showed him slipping on the floor, trying to get the rebound to shoot the 3-pointer. It's just been killing it, man. All right, man. So moving. Yeah, shout out to Stephen A, man. Moving on, man. Just really hot news, because it is opening week, or it was, I should say, opening week these last past days for Major League Baseball. And, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of baseball comments, over this season with the Oakland A's, now going to be the Las Vegas A's, who are currently the Sacramento A's. So we'll probably be talking a little bit more baseball as the stadium develops and the team moves here. But the hot thing right now is these torpedo bats, right? I don't know. You can't not pick up a news segment or scroll on sports for them to talk about these bats, especially with the Yankees coming out and just really bombing almost like 15 home runs in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Now other teams are starting to use them. So What's your thoughts on it? Is it legal? Do you care? Move on? Well, talk to me about the torpedo bats, man.
Don't care, man. I think it's great, honestly. And I only just wish the souped up version of Barry Bonds could have had one of them torpedo bats. I love it, honestly. I love it. It's why not buy into it, man? And it's technology, man. I mean,
and that's the thing, right? And baseball is like one of the slowest and the oldest sports with the unwritten rules, right?
Yeah,
that you got to worry about. So, no, I'm for it too. And so, staying on rules, right? The NFL currently are at owners' meetings, and they had a couple of things that were on the ballot. There's probably a few that we're missing, but I'm just going to talk about the two that are like really big for me, at least. You can jump on any other ones, but them with the tush push, man. How you feel about them kind of bringing it up and voting on it and trying to get rid of it?
First of all, pause, man. We got to get a different name for what this play is, because
brotherly shove. If
brother, this tush push is just, it just bothers
pause. Me. You right, pause.
But I don't like it, and I think I was.
Really?
I don't like the. I never have liked the brotherly shove, tush push, whatever we want to call it. I just think it's very elementary of a play, and it's unfair. As a person that played defense 30 years ago, you're not allowed to do the same thing on. I think maybe it was Mark Schlereth was explaining it this way. Like they outlaw rules of pushing and block kicks and all that kind of stuff,
right?
For safety or whatever the reason why. I don't know why they don't do the same
if I perfect power, right? If I perfect power, should they take that out of the game?
It's not power. It's not. It's not power. You're pushing somebody forward, just like on defense. You could do the same thing, right? Wouldn't you?
But if I perfect power to where it's unstoppable, should they stop that play? If I off tackle, kick it off. If every time I get that, because that's the only argument I have, right? Like, people starting to say, kind of like this is more of a rugby play. It's not something that but everybody's not doing it, and everybody's not successful doing it.
That's fair. That's a good point. I mean, it's funny. The Buffalo Bills is the main one that wanted to be like, "Hey, get this out of here." When they try to do it, they just didn't do it. They just didn't execute it right
at all.
No, if you say it that way, I'm not necessarily standing down, but I can hear that point. They've perfected something that it's been successful for them.
That's what
I don't know. Have you ever seen them get stopped doing it? I've literally never seen it get stopped.
No, and I think they said the stats when they were voting on it, but I think they not got it, but they say not got a first down, so that's not necessarily be successful, right? Because sometimes they did it when they needed 2 yards, sometimes they did it when they needed 1. So that kind of brings me to the next thing is the eagle eye. So now they're bringing in the eagle eye. Shout out to Patrick Sion, who came up with this idea. He pitched it to me like almost 6 or 7 years ago. Okay. Talking about pulling the technology in the ball to kind of figure out, the spotting. And so now that the chain gang is going to be secondary because they're going to be using this Hawkeye to do first downs. How do you feel about that?
Do not like it.
No. So that's funny, right? So you said technology with the torpedo bats, and now we have technology for the football, and you say you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm get off my lawn type guy when it comes to football. Honestly, I just some stuff like they messed with the kickoff last year,
right?
I get it for safety.
Safety,
yeah, or I don't know. I just the aesthetics of it. I just never really got behind. And as far as like our games. I don't know how many games are really decided by a measurement anymore. Anyway, right. But it is what it is, and it doesn't really matter when it. And I don't know the entire technology. I might have to read up on it, but it's all determined on the spot, right? Am I like doesn't an official have to determine what the spot is anyway?
Yep.
All right. So like, how does that really change anything?
So I guess
outside of taking somebody out of a job, bro.
it gives them a couple, I know, certified inches. Pause. I don't know, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they put this stuff in the game, man. So it's funny how they get too much into the game sometimes, right? Like I definitely know there's some rules that you should look at, review, but the game has been pretty deep. That's not something that's really changed the game, like you pointed out, to where we
Right.
really need to review it. So.
And as somebody that works in, like, and I'm sorry to cut you off, in grassroots parts of the game, like when you make wholesale changes to the game like that, how does that filter down to the lower levels that are working to get to the game? Or doesn't even matter? Maybe it doesn't, but I just
right. Like, are those wholesale changes going through all the elements of the game? Right. Like, who's going to be paying for Eagle Eye technology? Pop Warner,
like, the Pop Warner games.
you know
somebody will fundraise for it.
Someone
right?
will do it 100%, right? Yeah. Or they're going to start donating, right, for the love of what is it like to propel the game. We're donating this to this youth league. So
shout out to the 9 to 5, but please don't do all that.
Lee Hawkeye alone. So, like I said, it's always funny, to kind of see them start to implement that shit in preseason. It takes us about like 6-7 games for us to kind of know it. I mean, I still the kickoff was still a little rough for me, and they're changing that again. So it's just like,
what are they doing to the kickoff? I know they were making some adjustments.
Yeah, man. So I think they want to have more returns or something like that. So I think they're moving them up to the 35 or something like that for a touchback. Because people were kicking it out of bounds, and I think you were just getting it on a 20 still at a 25. So now they're penalizing you a lot more. I'm like, hey, if you kick it out or not in that zone or whatever, we're gonna move it up even more. So it's gonna be fun preseason. It's gonna be like, putting your school cap back on and trying to figure out what the hell's going on with football.
For sure.
Other changes, since we're talking about changes and basketball, I didn't see a lot, and I was looking to see if this is an April Fool's thing. So maybe you can help me out with this. Adam Stern was talking about a 4-point line. Do you think this is a real thing?
Nah, I don't know. I wouldn't. The way the NBA is, I wouldn't doubt that it's actually like a real thing. I don't. Again, I don't think it's necessary. I think the NBA, when it comes to 3-pointers, and I know that's obviously a discussion too, of how many threes are taken. Obviously, it's the way the game is played now, but in some ways, I just think it all reverts back to who's the best player, right? And so, as Wemby decides that he wants to get closer to the basket, you're gonna have to get more and more people that can mess with him, and then you know what I mean. I just think that's just the evolution of the game. Now, Saquon Barkley is back popular. Running backs are back cool in the NFL, and they were about to be extinct 2 years ago. So I don't have to change. We don't have to add no 4-point line. That's too gimmicky.
But we'll see what happens with that. What I want to transition to. Want to talk a little bit about the Final Fours, right? That's kind of coming up. Oh, we're here. Excuse me. We have the matchups. Definitely sad to see Juju go down.
Oh, so sad, man.
Especially just the way they were rocking and just the way she's
so sad.
She's on another level, man. Like,
hurt my feelings, man.
Ridiculous. You think she got cursed by Jay Daniels' mom? That's why she went down, man.
I don't even want to laugh at that, but man.
Hey, Jay Daniels' mom does not play. Let's because
but she cool though. That's Juju. It ain't like no just
random. Yeah, correct. But his mom was not having it, man. She came and sat in between them. That shit was hilarious. All right, but back to the Final Four. It's definitely sad to see them, but it's looking like it's going to be, was it all number ones in both, or?
I know no, because UConn in the number, and they weren't they were number 2.
No, they were number 2. Yeah, right. So definitely want to see Paige, right? Like, you got a lot of people you're rooting for in this, so it's going to be great to watch them, and just what the women's Final Four is doing for basketball is just amazing, exciting, and I'm here for it. So I'm definitely happy and looking forward to seeing the matchups. It was good to see the girls from the from USC step up. You know, with having Juju kind of go on and the support that they have for her. So I'm excited about that, man. And then the same for, you know, it's finally seeing the Blue Bloods, right, for the men's. You know, shout out to a lot of our Duke fans out there. Seeing Duke be back to prominence. How do you feel about that, man? You're an avid Duke fan there.
Love it, and I love the all number one season in the men's Final Four. I know some people don't like it, but I've never. I mean, the upsets are cool. You know, that first Thursday of the tournament. After that, it's like, bro, I don't want to see the number 12 seed in my Sweet 16 matchups. Like, do your thing, go home.
Right.
So I'm really glad to see the ones that are, I guess, have the biggest budget. And you know, I know my shout out to Josh. He's got stuff that he's dealing with now that's crazy. But no, I'm excited to see these big dogs you know, compete and see if we can get a Duke national championship.
So Duke for the men's. Who do you want for the women's?
UConn.
Okay.
UConn.
No,
I wanted
because
my folks from Notre Dame lost, man. I wanted to see them, but if they're not in there, I'll ride with UConn.
UConn, okay. And you want to see Don Staley pick up a title?
I love Don, but you know, Paige is, I think, one of the I'm not going to compare her to. I'm not going to say she's better than like Maya Moore, because I think Maya Moore is like the one. But at all those UConn greats, she needs to have her title to kind of be on that same list with them, and I would just like to see her have that.
And I would too, man. I mean, like, that's the tough part. She is for the culture. She knows, you know, I don't know, just a lot about understanding where she is in the game, where the game is going and progressing. We've often said this in the live and maybe just on one-on-one. You know, she was a Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark. You know, just injuries and things like that. So I definitely hope she does get a championship, just kind of like to solidify her in the college era. But although if she doesn't get it, you know, she'll still be a beast in the dog in the W. So definitely looking forward to, you know, what's coming out with that.
Yeah, and she's came back from, you know, what Juju suffered from. So, you know,
yes. All right, you know, definitely love to talk about our man Coach Prime here, man. He got the bag.
Yeah.
One of the highest paid coaches. So he got renewed at Colorado. There was some talk that him going to the NFL with all the coaching changes, and you know, his kid or a couple of his kids, right, leaving the program and going to the pros, and whether he would, you know, chase that thing. I think the Cowboys is one of the spots that was kind of talked about in jest or jokingly, however you want to look at it. But he got the bag, and he's staying in college football, man. And I think definitely the place for him. I think he's doing a lot for young men. He's doing a lot for that program. So I'm excited and happy for him, man. What's your thoughts?
Obviously, love it for him, and as a fan of Deion and him at Colorado, I'm just excited about it. I think we've always wanted to kind of see what this looks like after Shedeur and Shiloh were gone. That's kind of how he got into the profession. Mm-hmm. And you know, for as long as we've talked about Deion on this show, even back to, you know, the Jackson State era, I think that's been kind of like an underlying theme, is like, what is he going to do when his son's going to leave? So it's looked like he's going to be there based on the contract, but you know, I'm just excited to see what that really looks like. So it's cool. It's cool.
All right, totally off topic, man. And I say Cap. So did you hear he's got his TV show that he does on Tubi or something like that,
yeah,
with Roxy. So he was on another show, I think, kind of like doing some publicity or plugging for the show. And he just said that he didn't understand something, and that they had asked him, like, what does he think about, you know, or what did he use, you know, back when he had to pleasure himself? And he said he never pleasured himself ever in life.
Yeah, that's Deion. I love you, sir, but come on, bro.
But come on, like,
just be real. That's
I said cap. Like, what are you attempting to do? Like, and I love that you with the Lord, right? Like, yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But like, that was just the biggest. I need you to keep it 100 for us, right? Like, you are molding and teaching our men, right? Like, you can't be out here capping.
right. Yeah, and I don't know Dion, being prime, I'm sure his access was probably unlimited. Um, so yeah, but then again, I don't,
Moving on. Moving on. So just some real quick, just in remembrance, man. So RIP to George Foreman, man. He definitely passed, while we were kind of off, and definite boxing great, but just so many things about him as far as being, an icon, and just even coming up like with the Foreman grills. I was even thinking about trying to find mine. I think I got mine in storage somewhere, man, to just make a meal on the Foreman grill. Look, what's it? Look at the fat, look at the fat, look at the fat. For you that never seen those infomercials, man, and just how he was loving of his family to where he named all of his kids some form of George, even his daughters. So shout out to George. And then another RIP, man, just kind of more in the sports world that just popped up is Junior Bridgman, who played ball back in the days, mostly for the Bucks. It was right,
Yep.
I believe, and but just kind of what we talked about in the show. He turned his playing career into like what he did life after sports. Man, it just became a real big businessman and entrepreneur. I think the world's most Wendy's franchises or something like that, man. So it's just good that we don't talk enough about those stories. And I mean, even George, right? Like he was probably one of the first people NIL, name, image, and likeness, to put his name on a grill.
Sure.
And I don't know how many of those grills people sold and different
Right.
colors. They kept coming out with different series of them. So shout out to those two business entrepreneurs that found something after the sport.
To your point, man, we got to celebrate those guys more, man. I had the opportunity recently, and I didn't tell you this, but to speak to a group at Clemson University about transitioning after athletics and using all the disciplines and things that you learn from athletics to apply it to other walks of life. And those are two examples that did it the right way, and their business career was far longer than their professional athletic career. And we don't celebrate those enough for sure. And so, RIP to both of them. I think they're great examples for what sports can do for you. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. No, that's pretty cool.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So, all right, man. We didn't get through the show. It was mentioned, but now we're going to kind of pay homage. So I'm gonna let you take over. For one of the NBA greats that just got some good news. So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, man. It is great that we are getting season 6 started on this. I was going to use a pastor word, but I can't. No, it's not coming to me. But on just great day of celebration, man. Carmelo Anthony being going to the Hall of Fame, getting that first ballot notification that you are that man. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan. Carmelo Anthony, I think, got drafted by the Nuggets, or his rookie year was the Nuggets. When I was in high school, still in Colorado, so saw what he did to that franchise positively, and obviously as he moved to New York, he did a lot of great things there as well, and just love that he's going to get his moment where it's about Carmelo Anthony. I feel like Carmelo Anthony is one of those players that you got to mention somebody else when it comes to his legacy. Oh, he's not LeBron, or like all that kind of stuff. I'm glad he'll get his moment where it's just be about him. But one of the purest scorers to ever play the game, your favorite player's favorite player. Yeah, man, I'm just happy to see Melo get his shine, man. I think we might have to do a live show. I think September 6th in Springfield. Yeah, we gotta
make that. Let's do that.
September 6th, man. We got to make a trip to Springfield. So
happy
for my guy Carmelo. Stay mellow.
Stay mellow, hoodie or not, right? No, man, it's big for the game, right? Like these are definitely like knew his name in Syracuse, right? Like just coming out and just what he did there, and follow just follow the trajectory of the game. And he is one of those. He was a part of those teams into that era where like basketball was really locked in, and you had these perennial talents taking over the game, man. And he was shaping that and a part of that. So definitely shout out to him.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like you mentioned, Syracuse, his son is going to be there next year as well, and we'll see where his career takes him. But it's just kind of cool to see the greats moving on, and his podcast is pretty cool too. And I think I saw that he's going to be an analyst for some of the new networks. The NBA is picking up. Was it NBC or something like that?
So that's definitely his after career stuff. He's doing amazing stuff,
he's
man.
doing a good job as well. So
his wine, right? Like his wine portfolio that he's doing.
Right.
From the business side of stuff, he's building courts. So he's kind of reaching out and keeping to his, not just his black side, but is it Filipino or is it I forget, whatever his
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yes. He's just like he's doing big things outside, like clothing, he's just really getting out there, exploring and giving back, man, and just kind of back to what we talked about for George Foreman and Junior. Just he's doing some amazing things outside the game, So it's great to see him getting honored. What he did on the court. I'm just excited, kind of like even what we saw Kobe starting to do. We lost Kobe too early, so it's just going to be great to see all the things he's doing off the court. And I think that's we need to kind of keep mindful, like we talked about it, and just keep mindful of some of those things and make sure as we do this journey to September 6th, on the live show and things like that, we celebrate those as well.
For sure. Well said.
All right, my man. Well, hey, not so bad, not so rusty. Coming back off of our normal little break, jumping into season 6, man. But MH, man, you got any final thoughts or anything you want to say to people to wrap up and get them excited for season 6 if they're not already excited?
No, just really excited to be back, and I'm excited for some of the guests that have been chomping on the bit. I know on both of our sides to get on and learn and be educated from them and get their perspectives, and always cool to connect with you, man, and get back to the discipline and the grind that it takes. And just really excited about it, man.
Absolutely, man. I will echo those sentiments, man. We're going to be bringing you some really great interviews, so I hope you're ready for those. Some people, like you said, definitely chomping at the bit. Some nice surprises that we're going to have this year, and just the conversation. So, as always, if you have ideas, people that you want us to interview or that you think we should interview, and then ideas and topics you want to hear from us about, man, hit us on the social media, comment on this show. But, and there's nothing that's changed, man. We still want the same thing for you, man. We want you to stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.